I'm a writing superstar. 5 big goals I know by heart. Capital letter always first. Fingers, spaces between words. Sound them out the best you can. Punctuation at the end. Go back and check. We do our best. Hi sweet friend, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maylene Call from Mrs. Call's Campers. If you're new here, I am a kindergarten and first grade teacher. I vlog every single week for you guys and I show you literacy, I show you math, I show you everyday teaching, all of my organization, all of the things that I do. Today is Cookie Butter Monday. There's like almost nothing left in here because it is my planning. So this weekend I was here for legitimately 6 hours, like a full 6 hours this weekend, totally resetting the classroom. If you want to see what I did, you can check out my last vlog right up here. Right now what I'm doing is I am going to be stuffing our center folders. Once I do that, I can kind of show you what their center folder work consists of this week. We're also starting writing workshop this week as soon as they get back in from their snack and their recess. And to be honest, I am really ready for it. Teaching writing is one of my favorite things to teach. I do use the Moffat Girls curriculum. It is my favorite writing curriculum, and we are doing personal narratives. I have taught writing before this, but I haven't done an in-depth writer's workshop. So we're just going to start with personal narratives because I find that it's the easiest thing for kids to write about their own experiences. So that is kind of what we're doing for today. I am going to try to film my lesson and introducing it, but I might be a little rusty because I haven't done it in a while, but that's okay because this is just real life and they're not going to know if I'm not perfect. Time to show you right this second when I put in their center folders, but I will show you after school. I am really quickly looking over our writing for today for personal narrative. This is what the lesson plans look like from the Moffat Girls, and I go through, and I did this last year. I highlighted basically the things that I want to say, and when I'm teaching, I will literally read from the script, but I kind of make it, you know, more natural. So I'm just kind of reading over it, getting the gist, and we are going to be doing Knuffle Bunny. That's the book that I used last year to introduce personal narrative. And then we will be doing a heart activity, so they will be drawing in their hearts things that they can write about. I am really excited to teach writing. Wish us luck. Holy moly, today was one of the best days. It was phenomenal. We had so much fun. I feel like we got so much done. I loved getting to start our writing unit with them. I think if I was going to give myself some critique, it would be shorter lessons, but I think since today was Monday, I was just, I don't know, I missed them, and so I kind of had more conversation during our book than I might normally have. I'm not sure. I'll have to rewatch it. Now, please show me how you walk to your learning leaves. The reason why my kindergartners are not going over to the small carpet and we're not doing separate things today is because we are starting something new. Say writing workshop. Writing workshop. Okay. So all of this week, we are going to be doing it together. First part of writer's workshop is research. Say research. Research. What is research? Turn and tell a friend, what's research?
Research is,
what does it mean if you do research?
look at things.
Oh, my turn.
Your turn.
My turn.
Your turn.
I heard a lot of interesting conversations about research. Raise your hand if you want to tell us what research is. Say research. Research. What does it mean to do research? What do you think, friend? Yeah, it's when you look up something or you try to learn more about it. Say learn more about it.
Learn more about it.
Beautiful job. Show me that you are ready. We are going to be doing research on something called a personal narrative. Say personal.
Personal.
Narrative.
Narrative.
Personal means it's about you, and narrative is a story. Say personal.
Personal.
Narrative.
Narrative.
It's a story about us. The research book we are using is Knuffle Bunny. How many of you have read this book? No one's read Knuffle Bunny?
I have.
Oh, Miss Call loves, sit on your bottom.
I heard it.
Miss Call loves Knuffle Bunny. And this book is an example of a personal narrative. Say personal narrative. Not so long ago, before she could even speak words, Trixie went on an errand with her daddy. They left.
The bunny.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
The bunny is in the washing machine. See it? He didn't notice that.
He was distracted.
But a block or so later, Trixie realized something. Flabble clabble, said Trixie again. Blaggle plaggle wabble flappy. Snurr.
Flappy?
What is she trying to tell her daddy? They left the bunny. Characters have
Problem.
Oh my goodness. All right, so that was the story about Trixie saying her first words. Do you guys have special stories like that? Like losing your tooth or getting a dog? Something special to you? Do you have a special story like that?
Yes.
Yeah, we all have special stories like that. And today, my turn.
Your turn.
We're going to think of some of those special stories and we're going to put them. What are you supposed to be doing? Can you show me, please? We're going to put some of those special stories in our heart. But here's the thing. We don't have to write it. We just get to draw pictures, okay? Say personal narrative.
Personal narrative.
Good. A personal narrative, eyes up here, I'm going to use my pointer, is a true story. Say true story.
True story.
About you.
By you.
You are the main character. Who is the main character in our story we just read?
The baby.
The baby Trixie, right?
And the whole family.
Who would be the main character in Miss Call's story?
You.
Miss Call, right? When we read a personal narrative, who's the main character?
You.
You. We are, right? What we're going to do is every single person is going to get a heart. I'm going to show you what I'm going to put in my heart. I'm going to put things that are important to me, things that I know I can tell a story about. Do you think I would want to tell a story about the time that I walked over to the computer lab? No, that's not a very interesting story, right? I'm going to think of some interesting stories. Turn your bodies towards the screen. My hair smells good. You are so sweet. I love you guys so much. And I am going to fill my heart with things that I like to do or people that I like to spend time with. And the reason why this heart is important is because we're going to pick stories from this heart when we write. So I'm only going to put things in my heart that are things that I want to write about or things that I could write about, things that might give me an idea of something I could write about. So let's see how well you know me. What do you think is something that I might put in my heart? What's something that I might want to write about? Definitely, I would write about my class. So I'm going to draw just a couple of kids and I'm going to write my class. Say my class.
My class.
My is a sight word. My class. My class is something that I could write about. It's something that's important. What else is important to Miss Call? What else can I tell a story about? When somebody takes me somewhere, oh, good idea. Like maybe a trip that I went on. Have you ever taken a trip before?
I have. You know I did.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to draw. My turn.
Your turn.
I'm going to draw ooh, I really like to go here. This is the plant store. Say plant store.
Plant store.
Plants. I'm going to draw just the plant store like this. Ooh, I've also taken a trip before in an airplane. I'm going to do my best to draw an airplane. Does it have to be perfect? No, and I kind of forget what it looks like. Yeah, ooh, what if I had a private jet? That would be cool. Can I write a story about my private jet? No, because I don't have one. I'm writing about real stories. So I can write about my class. I can write about plant store. I can write about the time that I went on a plane. Miss Call has a dog too. Do you remember her name? Dog Tesla. And she has like fluffy ears like this. She kind of looks like a monkey, but that's okay. I'm just doing the best I can. What is fun to you? Turn and tell your partner, what's something that's fun to you? I like to go shopping, but at a certain place.
What's that?
Here's my shopping Target. Are you going to have the same things in your heart?
No.
No, you're not, because your heart is about the things that you like to do or the people that you like to do. So honest, I should draw
I like Target too.
I should draw my husband too. My husband's name is John. Say John. Remember, these are not just things that we love. They're things that we love and can tell a story about. Everyone needs at least 3 things. Say 3 things.
3 things.
You need at least 3 things. If you have more than 3 things in your heart, is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
You can put more things.
You can put more things. But what I want you to do right now is personal think time. What will you put in your heart? Quiet think time. I'm going to give you a heart. And wait, and you're going to get started drawing your first thing that you can write about. Something that you like or is important to you. It can be a person. It can be a pet. It can be a place. Okay, something you can write about. You can write about recess. You can write about a tooth. You can write about your mom. You can write about your brother. You can write about a trip. I want you to get started drawing one little picture. Are you going to draw a super big picture?
No.
No, you're going to make it a little bit smaller so we can put things in your heart. If you can label, do I want you to label?
Yes.
If you can't label, you can just raise your and me and Miss. Oh my gosh, he said sound it out the best you can. Good for?
Superstar song? No.
Well, we'll sing our superstar song when we do our writing. I love you so much for that. Helper, please help me pass out the 3, 2, 1. Hold up your heart so I can see it, please. Wow, I see some really good stories in your heart. Everybody's gonna get a turn to share one thing from their heart. Tell us one thing you put in your heart.
My friends.
I love that my friends are already giving each other compliments. That is such a kind thing to do. All right, tell me what's in your heart. Her sister! Your sister is so sweet. I bet you have a lot of good stories with her, huh? But it felt like everything took a little bit longer than I was expecting, and I also feel like I was explaining things for quite a long time. So overall, the lesson today I think was, in general, just longer than I wanted it to be. But I am so excited that we are finally diving into writing. They're excited about it. I was proud of the work that they did today, even though they were just drawing things that they could write about in their hearts. I think it went really well. Centers was the best it's been in months. I'm telling y'all, the time I spent yesterday just like revamping things in the way that I set expectations for them today before we went into centers, it seriously paid off. So I am so glad that I did that, because today was phenomenal. It was amazing. It couldn't have gone better. Very excited. I think I'm going to just keep the focus on writing this week and not tell you every single thing that we do during math and throughout the day. If I have like a sweet story or something, I will share it. But yeah, today was a really good day. Happy Tuesday. Kids are at snack. I'm eating a snack. We did our read aloud this morning, which went really well. They enjoyed it. But then towards the end, I had a lot of friends who were interrupting, or not necessarily interrupting, but they were just having side conversations whenever their friends were up at the front. So I let as many students as I could come up to the front and practice retelling our read aloud story for the week. I have other vlogs that show our weekly read aloud structure. Here is what we did today. You can't see it, but we talked about character setting, problems, genre, all of that. And then I let them come up to the front and practice retelling this story. And then I just had some friends who were turning and talking to their other friends when someone was up there. But other than that, they did fine. So when they get back in, we are going to do our writing block again. Yesterday it was really successful. And I'm hoping today is the same. It's not going to require them to do any writing today. They're just going to be helping me write a complete story. And I think when I taught this last year, I kind of extended these lessons a little bit more and I went a little bit slower. But that's because when we were doing it, it was the first time we were ever doing it. And I've already taught I've technically taught personal narratives to kindergarten and first grade so far this year, but we didn't get as in-depth as I wanted to. So that's what we're doing for the month of March, is doing in-depth writers workshop. Have I said that enough times? Jumping back for a quick second, the book we're reading this week, I didn't even tell you what it was. It's called Bird Hugs. Here's the book. It's super sweet. It was donated to us by Shayna Q. So if you are still watching, Shayna, thank you so much. The thing about reading this book is it brings back memories of my kindergarten class last year, because I didn't start, I'm pretty sure, I didn't start my year last year with these read aloud kits with these same books. But now I'm getting to the point that I vividly remember teaching my last year's class with these books. And it's kind of bittersweet, because now I've just been realizing how close to the end of the year we are. Like when I sat and mapped out the read alouds that I want to do for the rest of the year, it's not that many. Like we're so close to the end of the year. It makes me really sad, especially, well, I can't tell you why, but it just makes me really sad. But when we're reading this book, there is an orangutan in the book. Looks like this. And I showed them Steve Irwin. Of course, they wouldn't know who Steve Irwin was, but I still felt like it was my duty to tell them. Oh my goodness. Today was a long day. I felt like it was dragging by, and it also didn't help. It didn't help that this morning I woke up and I thought it was Friday. I don't know why. I was like, oh, it's Friday today. It was not Friday. I was telling one of my coworkers, and he was like, yeah, you have 4 more Fridays to go. But let's chat. First thing, I scheduled my observation. So that'll be not next week, but the week after that. And let's talk writing. Actually, my friends during centers today, they did a really good job again today. They needed more reminders, but that's okay. I think they're just like a fuzz. I think they're really enjoying all of the new centers that I have out for them. And I think the extra time I took to move their groups around for their centers, so they have a group of kids that they stick with, I took some extra time and kind of reorganized them. I think that's working out really well. I also made center leaders, so there's one person in each group, and I did this my first year of teaching. I just forgot about it. There's one person in each group who's not in charge of the group, but I kind of tell them, like, you're the leader of the group, like, make sure your friends are on task, whatever. It works out really, really well. Originally for writing today, I had planned to model me picking a story from my heart and then drawing the beginning, middle, and end. Oh, that's exactly what I did. I don't know why I thought I guess when I read my plans earlier, I was like, I'm not doing that. That's exactly what I did. So yesterday they worked on their hearts. I will show you a couple of them. This is mine. So we have a dog, and I went around yesterday and I kind of just like labeled it for them and labeled some of them really quickly. That's an example of what's in their hearts. And today when I taught it, I showed them my heart, I talked about some things in my heart, and I genuinely had to think of a story that I wanted to tell, because I did not know what story I was going to tell them, and I think you'll see all this in the clip. But I was thinking, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to start writing. And then I was like, oh, I have the perfect story. I'll tell about the time that I got Tesla. So I told my story, and what I like to do is I like to tell them my story with a lot of extra little details that are not important, and have them help me pick out the important details, so they know they need to include only the important details in their writing, and then the other details we can add in with our pictures. And without fail, last year and this year, the same thing happened. They were like, oh, but you said this and you said this, all those other details that we remembered. And I think it went really well, and they loved learning about how I got Tesla. To be honest, when I taught this unit last year, I made up a fake story. This year, I told them a real story, and I also showed them pictures when we were done. I showed them pictures of the day we got Tesla. I showed them Tesla when she was a baby, all these sweet things, and they absolutely loved it. And then it was their turn to make their little beginning, middle, and end. So I'll go ahead and show you pieces of our writing lesson today. The beginning part of our lesson, where I am telling my story and modeling how to map it out. It took about 20 or so minutes, but that's with us stopping and talking a lot because they loved talking about Tesla. And then they worked at their seats for maybe like 15 minutes doing their beginning, middle, and end. Yesterday we learned about a personal narrative. Oh, you remember to say personal. Say personal. Narrative. Personal narrative. A narrative is a story, and personal means it's about us, okay? So we all made hearts yesterday, and we filled our hearts with kind of like little mini stories, little moments that we can write about. So in my heart, I have my class. I have a plane because I remember taking a trip. I have a pan because I like to cook. My dog that looks like a koala because I'm still learning to draw, and that's okay. Plant store because I go to the plant store. I have John because he's my husband and I have stories about him.
I thought your husband was Mr. What's his name?
Did you hear what she said?
I thought your husband was Mr.
No. No.
I said
I have guys are so funny. I have lots of things in my heart. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick something in my heart to write about, and I'm gonna look at my heart and I'm gonna really think, what story do I want to tell first? This is Miss Call's think time. Will you hold up a 5 for me while I think? Ready?
5.
Shh. My private think time. Time's up. Okay. I decided I want to write about my dog Tesla. And what writers do first is they plan. Say plan.
Plan.
I have a planning page here. Say planning page.
Planning page.
And I'm going to use this planning page to help me focus in on the main parts of my story, my important parts of my story. Just like the stories we read as a class have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The stories that we write have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Are you ready to help me?
Yes.
All right, let me put it under the camera so you can see. Eyes on the screen. So I said I was going to write about my dog, and her name is Tesla. This is what I'm going to write about. Let me show you my planning page. She is a good girl. Well,
Tesla is
sometimes.
Tesla is
I'm going to think about my story as a beginning, a middle, and an end. Can I tell you what my story is? You guys are going to help me decide what the beginning, middle, and end is. Can you get your listening ears on? Click, click.
click, click.
Good. Are they nice and tight? Some of us have loose listening ears. All right. Here is my story. Funny. All right. Show me you're ready. Show me you're ready. This is the story of when I got my dog, Tesla, okay? For breakfast that day, I had coffee and I had a sandwich from Starbucks, and it was really, really good. And then I went into the car, and we were in the car and we were driving to a farm because that's where Tesla was when she was a little baby. So we drove to a farm, and on the way to picking up Tesla, we saw a lot of trees and a lot of birds, and there were a lot of other really cool things. So we're driving to the farm, and then when we get to the farm, there's puppies everywhere. There were so many puppies, and they were all so cute and tiny, and I didn't know which one Tesla was, but I was looking around, and then I saw her, and I picked her up, and I held her, and it was so sweet, and her little bark sounded like this. And she was so cute. So we went to the farm, and I picked her up. And I said, oh my goodness, you were the cutest puppy ever. And then we got back, whose turn? My turn. And then we got back into the car, and John held her on the way home, and she was cuddled up in John's arms while we were driving home. And then when we got home, we all sat on the couch, and Tesla took a nap with us. And then she woke up and she played.
On your lap?
Oh yeah, on our lap. She cuddled up nice and close with us. She was like this big when we picked her up. She was little. She's a little puppy. And that is the story of when I got my dog, Tesla. Maybe if we finish our lesson early, I'll show you a picture of what she looked like when she was a puppy. But first, I need your help, because I need you to help me pick out the important parts of my story, okay? Let's think. What was an important part of my story? What did I do in the beginning? Raise your hand. Who can tell me, what did I do in the beginning? I didn't go to Target. What did I do in the beginning? I had a coffee and a sandwich. That was a detail in my story. Is it an important detail?
No.
It wasn't an important detail. Do you think I need to write about getting coffee in my story about Tesla? No, that's not an important part of my story. What was the first important thing that happened? I drove to the farm. Good job. We have to use those listening ears to pick out the important details of our story. The first important thing I did was I got in my car and I drove to the farm. So that's what I'm going to draw in my beginning. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, what should I draw to show I was driving to the farm?
A car. You should draw a car and a car.
A car. Okay, ready? Oh yeah, there were trees. So I think I'm going to add, and I'm just going to add those little details into my picture. Here I am in the car. Me and John were driving to the farm. That was the beginning. What happened in the middle of my story? What did I do in the middle? I picked up my puppy Tesla, right? I found Tesla on the farm and there were a bunch of other puppies. Bunch of little puppies. I'm gonna draw me picking up Tesla. All right, help me tell my story. In the beginning, we drove to the farm. In the middle, we got Tesla. What's the end of my story? I'm gonna draw me, and I'm gonna draw Tesla. John. She was all curled up, and I'm gonna draw John. Does my drawing have to be perfect?
No.
Nope, I'm just trying to get my ideas onto the paper. What do you think I could title this story? What would be a good title? Remember, the title tells us about the story. Getting
A dog.
Tesla. And I still don't have a black.
16, 17.
My turn?
Your turn.
All right, I've got my black crayon. Now I'm ready to... Okay, so here is my beautiful planning page with my story. And now, my friends, when I go to color my story, or not color, when I go to write my story, I'll get to know exactly what I should write about. Are you guys ready to start with your planning page?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Should I show you a picture of Tesla first?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after I taught the main lesson, they went to their seats and I had them just start working on drawing the beginning.
I was going in the big trees were burned.
That's what good writers and good illustrators do before they write a story. All of our favorite books that we've ever read in class, our authors had to take time and do exactly what you just did. And they had to plan out their story before they started writing it. So you guys are already doing what good readers and good writers do, what good authors and good illustrators do. We planned our story. Tomorrow, I'm going to help you come up with a good title for your story, and we're going to start writing the beginning of our story. I'm going to hold on to these for now. I'm really, really proud of all your pictures and all of your hard work. I loved some of the stories that you guys are telling already, and I can't wait to read the first part of your story tomorrow.
This friend, she was a little slow. That's okay. She took a lot of time with this picture, but she started drawing the beginning of her story and then the middle, and she was kind of running out of time. I had everyone work on the beginning first, and I didn't film myself giving instructions to them because I don't feel like that's super helpful, but I just said, everybody stop. I want you to think about the beginning. Tell a partner, draw just the beginning, just the beginning, just the beginning. And then we went, okay, draw just the middle. Okay, draw just the end. So here's one. You'll see a lot of them will want to kind of copy bits and pieces from my story, like the way I draw things, and that is totally okay, of course. I still haven't done my people drawing lesson. I'm so sad. That will get done this week. It absolutely has to. But now I have all of these references to show what they looked like before. And this is kinder and first grade. So that was writing day 2, and tomorrow I will write the beginning of the story. So I'm taking all of the instructional time that I would normally use whole group, and I'm just transferring that to my small group. So we're still working on those skills, but I am teaching them, of course, small groups is always teaching them where they're at, but I'm taking the skills that are normally paced out for us in our curriculum, and my students who are ready for the next thing we're doing, they're getting that. My students who are still here, we're just pushing a little bit slower. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And it's also really helpful with first grade because I looked at the scope and sequence for our first grade phonics skills in Wonders. I kind of just like wrote it out by unit, but there's Unit 4, Unit 5, and Unit 6. So Unit 4, Unit 5, and Unit 6 is there. And all the yellow ones are ones that I've taught with our secret stories. So we are, honestly, it was kind of hard to see. We are way ahead of the curriculum. Have I taught it all explicitly? No, but that's what I'm going to be doing in my small groups. And then there is just a couple of gaps that I didn't really go over, but they're also not super, super important phonics skills. But it feels good to know that like the good chunk of phonics skills that they're supposed to learn in first grade, we've practiced together. So from here on out, it's just working on those skills. And a lot of that's going to happen in their writing. Or writing is always a really good way to see what they know. Through their encoding skills, you can get a lot of their decoding skills. So that is the plan. That's what I've been doing. And if you're like, Maylene, how are you keeping up with who knows what and who doesn't know what? I do testing on ESGI almost weekly. If I have extra time, I'll just pull kids and test them, especially my kindergartners for their letters and sounds. I have a sheet that just has which kids are missing which sound, so I can quickly glance at it and say, okay, immediately this student needs to practice that G says G, not J. That's specific example for one of my students. So my kinder specifically, I have a sheet like these students are working on these sounds and they need to get them, and that's helped me really push them a lot faster because I'm not just teaching everything all at once. I can look at that sheet and know, okay, I have to make sure I go over it with this person at least, you know, sometime. So and then for the whole class, I've talked about this before, but in my small groups binder, I keep data on a sheet. I don't have a blank one, but I keep data on a 2-page sheet. I showed this like 2 vlogs ago and I don't have a blank one to show you, but I have 2 papers that have a box, and every single box is a student, and I take notes on students every single week in my small group, so I can see this student is using a lot of phonetic spelling. This student is struggling switching the middle sound. This student forgets their punctuation. This student needs to practice the DR blend. This student can write CVC words. This student had an easy time writing CVC words. This student needs to slow down with their handwriting. This student can't isolate the first sound with words that start with N. This student can read nasal A words. This student needs help on their sight words. Like, I have a list of every single thing because when I meet with my students for small groups, I have my binder out, I have my pen, and I'm taking notes. Before I pull them to my small group table, I can flip back, really quickly check in, where were we last week, okay, and then make sure that I'm targeting what I need to in my small groups. And that is one of the most helpful things for me. So I know I've said it before, but all right, that is all for today. I will check in with you guys tomorrow morning. Hello, good morning. Happy Wednesday. So far today, we have done our read aloud. That went really well. We did our shared writing. My first graders get a paper and they do it along with us, and my kindergartners usually participate with me, and I'll have them come up, and I made sure to leave plenty of time today so they could come up and help me with just about all of it. So we did our writing, and then there were certain times where I would just turn my whiteboard around and we would tap out the sounds of a word together. Then I would turn it back around and we would write it. If I had a smaller magnetic board, it would be easier, but I don't. So that was that. That went really well, and I had a little bit of extra time, so I partnered up my kinders and my first graders. I had my first graders read the writing to kinders, and then I asked the kinders to make sure my first graders had punctuation and capital letters, all that fun stuff. So we're gonna do writing whenever they get back inside. I'm really excited. Today is the first day that we're gonna be doing our writing together, and luckily I have an aide to help me with this because kinder and first grade, it is going to be very different outcomes. My first graders, I think, can be pretty independent with it. My kindergartners, I'm guessing, are gonna need a lot of help. So wish us luck. Hello, it's after school. Okay, so writing today, I think I did much better on my timing. Let me look back. The lesson was about, 15 minutes and 54 seconds, 16 minutes. I'm proud of myself. That was pretty good. And I feel like, just sitting here at the end of the day reflecting, I feel like it went really well. I did have to explain to them why I could rush through my picture and they couldn't rush. Whenever they call me out on those things, I'm like, because I'm a teacher, because I've been coloring for a long time, because I can. I don't know. I can color faster. So whenever I tell them to do their picture, I tell them to take their time. So anyways, we went over using our planning to draw our picture from our story. We went over drawing the first part of our story, and then they helped me write my sentence. And this is tricky when you're doing it with a class full of kindergartners in first grade. I'm doing the best that I can, but I think it did go well. So I'm going to show you my lesson really quickly. Have a seat, please. Learning Lisa. Everyone on the carpet, please. Thank you for coming into the classroom quietly. All right, so we have been learning how to be what? Storytellers. We've been learning how to be storytellers and writers and illustrators. The first day we talked about things that were important to us, and we put them in our heart. Yesterday, we picked something to write our story about. Do you remember what our stories are called? Personal narratives. Personal narrative is a story about you. Is it a made-up story? No, it's a real story. Yesterday, we planned our story. Today, we're going to be writing about just the beginning. All right, this is the paper that we are going to use to tell
the beginning of our story. What do you notice about it? What does it have? You can tell me.
It's blank. A tablet.
It's blank. There's nothing on it yet. What else do you notice? Yep, we have to draw. There's a space for us to draw. What else?
And it also like a little tablet.
It has like a button in the middle.
It has a button in the middle. Do you notice this circle here?
Yes.
That's actually not a button. That's where we're going to put our page number. Say page number.
Page number.
And this is the beginning of our story, so it's page number 1. It's page number 1. So what should I put in this little bubble at the bottom?
1.
A 1. And I'm going to put a 1 here. Because as we write our story, we're going to get more papers, and that way we know the perfect order for them to go in. We'll have page 1, page 2, page 3. This will help us keep our pages in order. So we have a space for drawing, we have a page number, and what else do we have? Our writing. Can you show me where the beginning of my story is? Yep, it's the first box right here. Am I going to draw about me and Tesla on the farm? No, I'm just drawing the beginning part of my story. So I'm going to put it up here close so you can see. And this first picture that I drew, remember how I said it didn't have to be perfect? I'm just getting all of my thoughts onto paper. Now I'm going to take this little picture that I drew and I'm going to turn it into a bigger picture. So essentially, I'm going to draw the same thing, but I might add a few more details. I might work a little bit slower and take my time a little bit more. Now, when I drew this picture, my car was little. Am I going to draw the pictures on this page super little?
No.
No, I have a nice big box. I want to take up the whole box with my picture. So I'm going to draw my car. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to work really hard to make my pictures the best that I can. Oops. Is it okay if I went a little bit out of the box?
Yes.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Hold on, please. Is my picture done?
No.
What else do I need to do?
Sky.
I need the sky. What else do I need to color?
Clouds.
No, I didn't have any. There weren't any clouds that day. Yeah, I need to color it all in, right?
Yes. What is your car color?
It was like a grayish black color. And I'm going to fill in my whole picture with color. That's why I said I want to make sure that the picture I draw this time is not a small picture. We're making it a lot bigger. We're zooming into the picture. That way we can see everything that's happening. We're zooming it in. Ready? I'm going fast, but I'm making sure that I can stay inside the lines. The reason Miss Call can color fast is because she's been coloring for a long time. Trying to make sure we have time to do it, so hold on one second. Done. Miss Call can color faster because I'm a teacher, right? Okay. I need personal think time to think about what I'm going to say. Can you hold it up? Count slow for me. Let me think of my sentence. Me and John drove to the farm to get Tesla. Will you help me sing our writing superstar song? I'm a writing superstar, 5 big goals I know by heart. Capital letter always first, fingers, spaces between words. Sound them out the best you can. Punctuation at the end. Go back and check. We do our best. All right. You guys get to watch Miss Call write her first sentence in her book. Here we go. Me and John. I need a capital letter always first. Me and finger spaces. John. John is important. I have to capitalize the first letter in his name. Oh, it's saying its name, right? It's saying, oh, so I need Mommy E. And I also need Mommy E because why?
Because the letters end with a V.
They don't end with a V. We're on it today. All right, I've reached the end of my line. Does that mean I'm done with my sentence? No.
At the end.
Am I done with it, though? Me and John drove? No, I'm not done with my sentence. I have more to say. I'm going to drop right down to the next line. Me and John drove to, help me spell it. T-O. Me and John drove to the car. Finger spaces between words. Help me spell the. T-H-E. Good. Me and John drove to the farm. Let's chunk it up. Ready?
R. What's the first sound?
R.
I hear the R sound in the middle. Good thinking. Say farm. Farm. Do you hear the F sound in the front? Like a fish or a fan? Ready? Me and John drove to the R. There's two letters that are going to make the R. A is letting R borrow the superhero cape so R can say its name. Say R. R. How do you spell R?
A-R.
A-R. Watch me. Now I need to go back and me and John drove to the farm to get Tesla. Am I done?
No.
It doesn't have to be perfect. So the first thing I did was draw my picture. The second thing I did was I colored it in. And then I started working on my what? On my writing. I'm going to have a kinder line and I'm going to have a first grade line. Okay, so that was the lesson in brief. Very, very simple. So whenever I finished, I stood over here, and this is where I keep our writing, and I have different lines. So these have 2 lines, and these have 3 lines. And I let the first graders get the ones with 3 lines, and I let the kindergartners get the ones with just 2 lines on them. First thing I did was I had everybody stop, everybody write their name on the back of their paper. Then next thing I did, I had everybody put a number 1 on the first page of their paper, every single person. And you would be surprised the kind of focus it takes and the amount of energy it takes just to get all of your kids to do the exact same thing at one time. You have kids who are off in La La Land, you have kids who are talking to other kids. You would be surprised. So after everyone had their name on their paper, after everyone had a 1, me and my aide passed out their planning sheets with their beginning, the middle, and the end. And I talked about how we are just drawing the first picture, just drawing the beginning of our story. I reminded them that we are zooming in, and their picture, they need to blow it up. Talked about coloring the whole thing, talked about taking their time, and I still, believe it or not, I still had students who drew something completely different than they planned. Like one little girl was writing about her dad like cooking steak for her, and then she started drawing something totally different. And I was like, we're working on one story, the same story. I was also really surprised because some of their planning pages, I couldn't tell 100% what the picture was, and then when they drew it on the actual writing page, I was like, oh, that's what that is. Like one little boy, he's writing a story about monster trucks, and on his planning page, he had all of these like L shapes, and I didn't know what they were. But then when he drew it on here, they were people, and I was like, oh, he was drawing all the seats at the monster show. So it was really cool to kind of see what their actual ideas were. I still have friends, like I said, I need to give my people drawing lesson. I still have friends who are drawing the circles with sticks. I'll show you some examples of their pictures. This is a little girl on a skateboard. Yeah, I think a lot of them took inspiration from my very badly drawn card. I gave them about 15 minutes to work on their picture. I wanted them to take their time with it. And then afterwards, I had them put all of their crayons away. And then I said, we're going to write a sentence about our picture. The first thing that happened, I had kindergartners hold up a 1. I needed them to write 1 sentence. Say it. 1 sentence. And first graders, I had hold up the number 2. And I was like, how many sentences do you think you're going to write? And they said 2. And I said, yes, you need 2 sentences. Kindergartners, how many sentences are you writing? 1. First graders, how many sentences are you writing? 2. And then me and my aide passed out the pens for their writing. And before we gave them a pen, we said, what's happening in your picture? What is your sentence going to be? Just kind of getting their thoughts flowing before we actually gave them a pen. So every student that I gave a pen to, I said, what is your sentence? What are you going to say? And I repeated it back to them. And I will say, I have some okay work. It's not the best work, but one thing I will say is it was almost 100% independent, almost 100%. And another thing that I did that I'll share with you, and I thought of this in the moment, and I was like, wait, this is a really great idea. I need to do this every time. When they were working, I put each of these little iWords desktop dictionaries. I talk about iWords a lot in my videos. They are the sight word cards that we use. They are wonderful. I have a discount for you. Check the description down below. But I took one of these dictionaries and I put it on every single table, and my kids were actually using them and like looking up how to spell sight words if they weren't sure, because that's one thing that I'm like, yes, sound out what you don't know, but also use your resources. If you know where to find something, use it. So is it the best work they've ever done? No, but a lot of them I'm really, really proud of. I think it's really good progress. One little girl, a first grader, her sentence, she said, "This picture is about me riding a bike." And so tomorrow I'm going to make sure I go to her first and ask her what her sentence is going to be and talk her through what a storyteller sounds like. Overall, I think writing day 3 went pretty well, and honestly, I am just happy that we're able to do it. We're able to get through our lesson, that they're focused, that they're excited, that they want to do this. I am just encouraging whatever writing I get. So very, very proud of them. Very excited to see where it goes from here. Nope, I've just been organizing some of my materials. These are letter sound cards. I used these at the beginning of the year with kindergarten, but I did not organize them, and so I'm just working on organizing them so it's easier for me to pull. So every letter has like, what's the letter, and then like a picture for it. And then I have my onset and rhyme cards and syllable cards. These are all from Tara West. I get asked all the time which cards these are. These are from Tara West's alphabet curriculum. I'll link that below. So that's what I've been doing, and I think I'm gonna go home. I think it's time. I'll show you our center folder work tomorrow. Hello, good morning. Today is Thursday. Honestly, it's crazy to say that. I feel like every Thursday I'm like, whoa, okay, it's Thursday. And I say it every week, but it's just because from Thursday the week just flies by. So today we are going to be writing the middle of our story. I'm very, very excited for that. We'll see if I do things a little bit differently today based on how things went yesterday. I think I will. I'm just not sure 100% what I want to do. I know I'm definitely going to start the lesson by pointing out some awesome things that my writers did yesterday, and hopefully that'll encourage them going forward. But I think I'm just mostly excited to get them writing again. The other thing I'm doing is, since it is Women's History Month, the basic life or basic life, I think just basic life of Brooke posted her Women's History Month spotlight. And every day in March you can show a little read aloud or a book or a video link. I think they can learn about different important women in history. So it looks like this, who it is, and then a short video about them, or a read aloud, I think, maybe both. If there's a book, I think she puts that in there too. But here's an example. So basic life of Brooke, and I love that she did that. I need to message her and thank her because I'm using them. So I think I'm gonna put it on in the morning, and then maybe after lunch we will see. Also, I am wearing some more poppy earrings. These are in the color poppy. They're the bouquet bangles. I originally had the pink ones, and then when I got them in the mail, I was like, those are so beautiful. I want them in red. Oh, I'm obsessed. I made John check the mail this morning. I was like, I think they're coming in today. And he was just like, ready to go. And I was like, please check the mail. Okay, I'm on my planning. What I'm actually doing, I don't know if you can see, I'm organizing all of our books for guided reading. I do still have some decodables that I want to print, but for right now I'm just organizing the ones that we have. And we did our craft for bird hugs today. I am so stinking proud because I have one student who most of the time he will cut with us, but he'll just cut randomly, or he'll cut a little bit but not really a lot, and he never goes on the pictures. And today he was working with 2 of my kids who always do what they're supposed to be doing, and they were sitting at my back table, and I don't know if he was just watching them more or if he just felt like today was the day that he was going to go for it, but he did this by himself. This is what, and here's an example of a student who glued it on backwards. Here's another example of a student who got done early and was coloring the pictures. You can kind of see these are colored. This is mostly what it's supposed to look like. And I have my example up on my board. You can see my example. But I walked over here and I saw all of this put together. Like, he had glued pictures on. They're not in the right order. That's okay, because he told me the story while we were reading. He was doing a really good job of following along. And he glued the wings onto the bird, and I walked over and I was like, did you do that all by yourself? And his face lit up. He was like, yes, Miss Call. And then he got the eyes and the beak. But I'm so proud, so proud. That is the highlight of my morning. I'm just getting organized while the kids are at snack. All right, we made it after school. Not even sure what I filmed for you today. I definitely filmed our writing lesson. It's not too different from yesterday, but I think I filmed it for you guys. I'll show it if it's worth showing. In the beginning, me and John drove to the farm to get Tesla. In the middle, what happened?
You got Tesla.
We got Tesla, right? We got Tesla. We picked her up for the first time. She was running around with all the puppies. In the end, we went home and we cuddled with her, right? Yes. So if yesterday Miss Call wrote about the beginning,
What do you think I'm going to be writing about today?
The middle.
The middle of my story. I am only going to be writing the middle of my story. That is it. Okay, so let me talk about some things that I noticed in your writing yesterday. I noticed that some of my friends, when they were working for their picture, they added more details to their picture. That is a good thing. Good for this friend. They added more details to their picture. Did they make up details? No, they added more details that really happened. I can tell my friends are using punctuation. They're using their capital letters. What I am noticing is that some of my friends, even though I told you not to rush, some of my friends were still rushing through and they did not do their best handwriting. So today, what are we gonna do?
Do our best handwriting.
Your best handwriting. I love the detailed pictures. All right, are you ready to help me write the middle of my story?
Yes.
Pull up my camera. Count with me while we wait. 1, 2. So I know I have my barn, my puppies, the grass, the sky, and the sun. I'm gonna get my crayons. These are tools that illustrators use. The first thing I'm gonna draw is a barn, and I like to use my shapes when I'm drawing. So I'm gonna start by drawing kind of this square shape for the front of the barn, and then a triangle shape for the top of the barn. Let's say people colors.
People color.
I'm gonna find a people color that I think looks the most like my skin. I think this one is a pretty good match. And here's a little trick Miss Call likes to use. Whenever I color the background of something, I don't press super hard because it makes my hands get tired. So whenever I color the background, I like to color it very light. I just use it gently, and that way my hands don't get super tired. Do you like it? After number 1 comes number 2. Okay, what's the last thing I need to do? I need to write my actual story. Now it's time to write my sentence, and I need private think time. Good writers think about what they're gonna write before they start writing, so they have an idea. I want you to count slow for me quietly. Shh. Nope. 5. We saw a lot of puppies. I picked up Tesla and excited. Ooh, I think it's important to say how I'm feeling too. Good idea. All right, ready? We saw a lot of puppies, capital letter. Let's go back and check. We saw a lot of puppies in the grass. I picked up Tesla. I was excited. All right, beautiful job. We are going to write the middle of our story now.
Oh, I need to show you their center folders. Okay, center folder worked this week. Sentence writing, they kind of rushed through on their pictures. That's okay. So I actually differentiated their center folders a little bit more than I normally do. Normally I just do kindergarten, first grade, on level and below level, but now I differentiated it just a tad bit more because I was looking at like all my data and I was just kind of grouping students differently, and it probably takes an extra 10 minutes of my time, but whenever I'm picking out center folder work, I usually just sit down, scroll through my products, jot down the page numbers, and then I'm done. One of my first graders had this one, just working on blends, and then I also gave them just like a writing page. That was all I put in their center folder, I think. You can't even see because it's pencil. They write sentences with their words. And I always check in with my students too whenever they show me their center folder, and I check it off on my little checklist here. I always ask them, like, was this easy, was it hard, was it good, and I get their feedback on it. One of my first graders still needs help with just writing sentences, so I gave them that this week, and then I had them doing beginning sounds, and then listening for word families. That was a first grade. Another first grade, I accidentally gave this student the lines here instead of the one that has like line, 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 and they definitely ran out of space, but they had that. And then a more fun writing center, you have to like do the maze. This is all part of the Miss Giraffe phonics bundle, but the more complex ones like these, I usually save for my students who are really good with their words. She also had a little phonics crossword to do. That was new. When she was in word work, she was sorting through these patterns, and I'm kind of using these in addition to small groups to kind of cover those phonics skills that we have gaps in. Like today in small groups with my first graders who are ready to move on, we reviewed the secret for
G and H, and sometimes they can cover their mouths, like in the word neighbor, ate, and bought, whenever they're between other letters. Because one of the phonics patterns Wonders wants you to teach is IGH says I. So we practiced that today. And they're decodable. This just goes with Wonders, and it was the perfect thing for us today. We read Friday Night Fun. They actually did a really good job with this once we learned that spelling pattern. And this is about what it looks like if you are curious. We talked about compound words last time too. And then their writing for today, I put the sound, or I put a box for their sound and then gave them writing lines, and they wrote, "It was Friday night, we looked up at the lights." That's kind of how all of this works together, I guess, is what I wanted to point out. And then one of my higher kindergartners, this was the first time that they got this paper, and I explained it to them, but they forgot. They are supposed to write the word after they unscramble it, so they did a good job. That all the letters are down here, they unscramble it and they build it. They did a great job with this. They just didn't know they needed to write it, and they even did the mystery word. Kindergartners also always have this to practice their handwriting. This kindergartner is on level. So I have a beginning and ending sound writing. It's hard to see because he wrote with light crayon, but that's where he's at. And all my kindergartners had short E work this week. I know this sounds like a lot just explaining it, but it's really quite simple if you have the same bundle that I have, the Miss Giraffe's Phonics bundle, because I just pick and choose from that same bundle. So you might be looking at this and thinking, that's this and this and this, and how do you find all these resources? It's all in that one bundle that I like, and I like it because it makes my job easier like this. I can differentiate it so easily. Another one of my first graders, I wanted them to work on this. Another one of my first graders, I was working on the long O sound with them, reviewing short E words, and just getting beginning sounds. This is a first grade work. So you can see that this sheet is similar to the one that my higher kindergartner had. So yeah, it makes it really easy to differentiate. And again, this is a first grader, so this is something they chose to work on in the Writing Center. I don't know if you can see, this is from Just a Primary Girl, and they have words here and they build sentences. And I have sentence starters in my Writing Center. I think I showed them to you, but I'll show them to you again. And they said, first the boy went to the pond. And that's what they wrote. And I'm really proud of them for that. So there are some examples. Hopefully I can remember next week before I put my center folder work in there to show you. And then it'll be easier for you to see how I do all of that. Really quickly, I'll show you our Writing Center. That's what we have right now. Here's an example. There's lovely art that someone hung up in there. So that's what we've got going on in the Writing Center. Oh, we also did our people drawing lesson. I went ahead and hung up the anchor chart. That anchor chart, if you go in the description box, there is a link that says all of my links, and it is in there. And we did our people drawing, so I will show you how that turned out. You are going to do it with Miss Paul. I'm going to show you exactly how I draw a person. What do I need to start with? Number one says we need a...
No.
We need a head, and I'm going to start with a circle. Am I going to put my circle way at the bottom?
No.
No, I'm draw a circle for the head. Take your time. We're not rushing. I want you to do your best. Next, I need to draw the body. Number two, the orange one. I need to draw the body. I first am going to draw my shirt. Everyone's going to practice drawing a shirt first. We can practice drawing dresses later. We're going to practice a shirt first. Ready? To draw my shirt, I'm going to start on, wait for me. I'm going to start on the side of my neck and draw it down. I'm drawing it kind of curved like that. And then I'm going to close that shape. It should look exactly like Miss Call's. Okay, now we are going to draw the sleeves. Watch me go back up to the top. And I'm going to draw a little shape going down, and I'm going to close it. A shape going down and close it. Those are my sleeves. Next, I'm going to draw my pants. To draw my pants, watch me. All we need is 3 lines. If you're a tall person, you can draw the legs tall. If you're short, you can draw them short. I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3 lines. Watch me when I do it so you know. 1, 2, 3 lines. Good. I didn't even close it. I just left 3 lines just like that. Thank you for following directions. Do you see how we drew 3 lines and it looks like 2 legs?
Yes.
Isn't that a nice little trick?
Yes.
Next, we're going to draw arms. For now, we're just going to draw our arms down by our side. Watch me just do 1 line down by the side. Later on, you can practice making your arms do silly things or holding puppies like I did. All right, after we draw the body, we need to draw the hands and shoes. And for this, I like to just put little circles. That way I know their hands
And my shoes, I can do little circles too, more like ovals. All right, after I've drawn my hands and my shoes, I need to draw what's in the blue. Face and details. Watch me. You can draw your eyes however you want. I sometimes like to draw them like this with the black in the middle, but you can do yours however you want. You can just put dots if you want, however you want. You can color your face. So your smile can be open or your smile can be closed. Just your face. We're gonna practice the hair next. Right now we're doing just the face. If you wanna add details onto your shirt, you can do that. If you wanna wear maybe a necklace, you can do that. I'm gonna draw pockets on my pants. I'm gonna draw shoelaces. To make shoelaces, you can start by drawing a heart if you know how, or you can draw a loop, and then you can squiggle it down, and there are your shoelaces. All right, what should I pick for my hairstyle? I can pick anything I want. And you can even pick a hairstyle that's not there. I want you to look, see if you like any of those hairstyles, and if you want to come up with something all your own, you can. All right, ready? Pick your hairstyle. I'm gonna do space buns, I think.
What are space buns?
We always have some hair in front on our face a little bit. For my space buns, I'm going to draw my ponytails. And space buns are kind of round like this. And they have some hair sticking out. Space buns.
Oh, that really looks like hair.
Isn't that cute? That's so good. Oh my goodness. Say goodbye, stick figures.
Goodbye, stick figures.
Say we don't know you anymore.
We don't know you anymore.
All right, I want you to show the person next to you. Show them your amazing drawing.
I forgot to...
They came out super cute and they were praising themselves. They were like giving each other compliments on how good their people looked, and they were really proud. Just for reference, all but like maybe 2 of my kids are drawing stick figures, and a lot of my kindergartners are still drawing people as like a blob with like 4 sticks on it. Like that's where we were at. And I normally do this lesson way earlier in the year, and I'm bummed that it took me till March to get to it, but we got to it. We did the one on the, is this your left or your right? It's my left. I think it's your right. The one on your right, this side, that over here, we did together, and then I let them draw one by themselves, and I kind of guided them, and I just said, draw this, now draw this, now draw this. Example. We did this one together, this one independent. Actually, I think some of them mixed up their sides. That's why I'm getting confused. Example, this sweet friend put a mohawk on theirs, and then they made a really tall mohawk. That's okay, we love it. This one we did together. This one they tried by themselves. You could tell they like were forgetting some things, and I was trying to like point out the chart to them. We did this together, independent. I just think they're so cute. This kinder got creative for her independent one. She made it a cat person. Just precious. So we're gonna do this if we have free time. It'll be kind of like a time filler for me. If I have like 5 minutes, I'll be like, okay, let's draw a person together and just practice. And that's kind of how I like to just review it. But that's my people drawing lesson. And what else did we do today? We learned about Jane Goodall. It's Women's History Month, and I already told you about The Basic Life of Brooke. We learned about Jane Goodall a little bit, and that was my day. I think the best part of my day right now is reading groups, just because we're like in the nitty gritty now. Like the stuff they're doing, it's impressing me. I love it. I love every bit. Next week I might go back to showing you some small groups. Let me know though. I am behind on editing vlog. Hopefully you see this weekend. That means I'll have to edit 2 videos. We will see. Oh my gosh, it's not even Friday. I was about to close out the vlog. You know what? We're gonna close out the vlog because tomorrow is Fun Friday, and we're gonna be doing a lot of art, a lot of reviewing, and you know what? I'm gonna save myself some editing time. So we're also going to write the ending of our stories tomorrow, but you've already seen how I teach the beginning and the middle, so it's basically the same thing. I just model it for them. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like this video if it was helpful. Let me know in a comment specifically, what do you find the most helpful? Every time I see those comments, it is so helpful. I really appreciate it. Those words of affirmation go a long way with me. They really do. I appreciate it. Every single one of you. Thank you so much. Make sure you're subscribed. Join the family if you are not. I'm so happy to have you here. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.